Hi, it's Kim back with another unemployment insurance video for you. Today we're going to talk about the reasons why you may be under investigation or held disqualified or ineligible. This is very similar in all 50 states, however, there are slight differences. So if you will look in the description box below, you will find a link for the claimant handbook for your state. I've listed all 50 states below. But today I'm mainly going to be using definitions and wording that is used in Kentucky. So your state might be slightly different and you need to look into that. But before we get started, I need to add this legal disclaimer. By viewing this content, you agree that the information provided is not intended to be legal advice. All information is for general information purposes only. The information may not be the most up-to-date legal or factual information. Do not act or refrain from acting based on this information without consulting a licensed attorney in your state who can assure you that the information is correct and is applicable to your unique circumstances. The creator of this video is not acting as an attorney. There's no legal relationship between the creator and contributors of this video and those who view it. The views expressed in this video are solely the personal opinions of the creator based on the information that is publicly available. The creator and contributors of this video expressly disclaim all liability with respect to actions taken or not taken based on its contents. There is no representation being made that the content of this video is error-free. Okay, the first reason that you may be under investigation or held disqualified or ineligible is if you don't have sufficient base period wages for a regular UC state claim. So when they calculate your benefits, they look at the 5 quarters preceding the date that you filed for benefits. So if you filed for benefits in May of 2020, the 5th quarter would have been January through March of 2020, and the wages that they use for their calculation would be all 4 quarters of 2019. So if you don't have sufficient base period wages, which you can see the calculator on your state's website to calculate your base period wages, if you don't have what your state considers to be a sufficient amount of wages for those 4 quarters, then you would be disqualified from regular UC. And they have to decide whether or not you are qualified for regular UC before they can consider you for a PUA claim. So there's going to be a little bit of a delay there. Okay, another reason that you may be held disqualified, or they can be investigating your claim, waiting for some information from your employer, is if the employer alleges that you were discharged for misconduct. So in Kentucky, there are multiple reasons that would constitute misconduct. I'm going to read those so I don't miss them. But falsification of an employment application to obtain employment through subterfuge, so lying on your job application. A knowing violation of a reasonable and uniformly enforced rule of your employer. Unsatisfactory attendance without good cause. For your absences or tardiness, damaging the employer's property through gross negligence, reporting to work under the influence of drugs or alcohol, refusing to obey reasonable instructions from your employer, conduct endangering the safety of self or your coworkers, or incarceration in jail following a conviction of a misdemeanor or felony, which results in missing at least 5 days' work. Now, if it doesn't fall into one of those categories, then there is some case law that the state looks at, and they look at the employer's interest and a few other factors. But if the state is investigating whether or not you were discharged for misconduct, you will see on your claim that you are under investigation. Everyone gets upset when they see under investigation. All that means is they're trying to figure things out. They're investigating the issue. It doesn't mean they're investigating you, thinking, not necessarily, mean that they're investigating you to think that you did something wrong. They're just trying to sort out the facts to see if you're qualified or not. So another reason they may have you under investigation is if it's alleged that you voluntarily quit your employment without good cause attributable to the employment. So for regular state unemployment compensation, not only does it have to be good cause, it has to be attributable to the work. So if you quit your job to take care of a family member, that is not attributable to your employment. Also, they look at whether or not the work was suitable work. If it's found to be unsuitable work, then that would be good cause attributable to the employment. So that may be what they are looking at on your claim, trying to figure that out. All right, so there's 3 reasons. All right, 2 more. They may be trying to decide if you are physically or mentally able to work. So if you put something when you were filing for benefits or claiming your weekly benefits that during certain weeks you were not physically or mentally able to work, then they would be trying to decide whether or not you should be disqualified from a regular UC claim. Also, have you put any undue restrictions on your availability for work? So those could be things like you don't have adequate transportation. For a regular UC claim, we're not going to go into PUA reasons today, but for a regular UC claim, do you have inadequate child care that keeps you from reporting to work? Are you attending school full-time and not able to accept full-time work? If you have a history of attending school full-time and working full-time, then you would have an argument that that does not limit your availability. However, if you do not have that history, then they would be trying to decide whether or not you have unreasonably restricted your availability for work. So if they're trying to figure that out, you're going to see on your claim that you are under investigation. Okay? So it's not necessarily that you've done something wrong. This is just, they're just trying to do their job. All right. The same is a self-imposed restriction on searching for suitable work. Generally, you have to be searching for full-time work unless you have medical restrictions limiting you to part-time work, and that gets a little complicated, but in general, that's something that they would be looking at. Also, if your employer or another employer reports to the agency that you refused an offer of suitable work, so they have given you a bona fide offer, which is a specific offer, telling you a specific job and the details of the job, your work location, job duties, starting date, starting pay, your work schedule. If they have given you those details and the agency decides that that is suitable employment for you, your refusal of that work could be a reason you are under investigation or disqualified. Also, teachers who are not working during the summertime, that is a regularly scheduled break, and they would be investigating whether or not that was a regularly scheduled break for you and if you should be disqualified for those summer months, for that break period. Now, that gets a little more complicated if you have a teacher who normally works during the summer or if you have a teacher who has a second job. We will cover that under our PUA video. We're not going to cover that here. But that's something they could be looking at. If you see that your claim is under investigation, that could be a reason why. Another reason why is if you did not respond to requests for information by the agency. So a lot of people during the pandemic have had questions about their identity. So perhaps you did not answer the questions correctly. So when it pops up and did you ever own this kind of vehicle? Where does this person live? They'll name one. It's kind of spooky. They name one of your relatives and where has this person lived? If you answer those questions wrong, that may trigger for them to request proof of your identity. Or if you have had a name change, so marriages and divorces, ladies, if you've had a name change, you may have to verify your identity. So you're going to have to give your driver's license, birth certificate, social security card, There's all kinds of different types of identity information that you can mail to the agency or upload on your account, and they will not pay your benefits until they have investigated that issue and made sure that you are who you say you are. So if you're under investigation, it could be that reason. And it doesn't hurt for anyone who's under investigation, if you've never received any money, to go ahead and upload that in case that is a problem in your case and you have missed some sort of correspondence requesting that information from you. So also, if they have information that you are no longer unemployed. So here's how they define a week of unemployment. It's 7 days prescribed by regulations during which a worker performed less than full-time work and earned less than an amount equal to 1 1/4 times her determined weekly benefit amount. So to be considered unemployed, you have to have income less than 1 1/4 times your weekly benefit amount. So if your weekly benefit amount is $100, that would be $125. You would have to be earning less than $125 to be considered unemployed. So that also can get complicated, and we could spend a lot of time on that, but we're just going to briefly mention the reasons that you could be under investigation. Another reason is if you were instructed to comply with reemployment services. If you failed to participate in reemployment services, then you could be under investigation and your benefits could be delayed while they decide that issue. So also, if they have information that you are self-employed, they could be investigating that to determine whether or not you qualify for regular unemployment compensation before considering you for a PUA claim. And last but certainly not least is if you have some sort of fraud claim against you. So that could be past or present. If you have a past fraud claim and have not I'm going to say served out that disqualification period, then that could delay your current benefits. Or if they believe you have committed fraud while filing your claim. Now that's what everyone's mind jumps to when you see on your claim page that you're under investigation. Everyone thinks, oh no, they think I've committed fraud, I'm in trouble, this is this is so awful. And usually it's not that at all. Usually all it is, they're just trying to do their job. They're just trying to figure out if you have an issue with your claim. And where there are so many claims right now and so few workers, you can be under investigation for quite a while. You could be collecting benefits and then all of a sudden end up under investigation. Well, maybe that week your employer reported that they offered you another job and you refused it. There's all kinds of reasons you could be under investigation. So I wish they would use different wording and just say we are evaluating your claim instead of telling people they're under investigation and everybody panics. So that is the short and simple list of the reasons you could be under investigation or reasons you could be found disqualified or ineligible. And so I hope that helps you understand a little bit better. And don't worry, when they finally make a decision, you will have a chance to appeal that if it's not in your favor. I know that doesn't help when you're waiting so long for your benefits and you need your money, but at least you know that you're not necessarily being looked at for fraud. So I hope that helps you relax a little bit and understand the process a little bit better. If you don't mind, please subscribe to this channel so that you will get notifications every time I post a new video. I'm going to try to go into each area of unemployment law. So perhaps when you have an appeal hearing, you will understand the issue that is going to be discussed a little bit better. You can be a little better prepared. You can know what kind of evidence to bring to the hearing. I've already done videos on how to file an appeal and what to expect when you attend a referee hearing or a hearing officer hearing, and what that process looks like afterwards. So since people can be having hearings for so many reasons, I would really like to do a video on each reason. And if you are subscribed, then you will get notifications, and then that also helps me if I reach, I think I have to have 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 viewing hours. It may never happen, but it could. So if you would subscribe, I would appreciate it. If you would share, I would appreciate it. And if you like the video, if it has helped you, I hope it has. I hope you feel more confident in representing yourself through this process. And I hope that the videos on this channel bring you some peace and just make you feel more prepared to deal with what lies ahead of you. So thank you very much for coming, and I will see you next time. Bye.